Did it work, Shruti?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm the presenter now. I'll share my screen and play the prayer. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible, Shruti.
ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम् ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्युषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्।
Good morning, students. I am just sharing my machine. 1 minute.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Priya. There is some problem with this device. Taking some time, students. What happened? We ran into a problem. Why? I am connecting with my machine. It is telling we ran into a problem. So that is the problem. It could connect finally. All right. So good morning, everyone. Okay, these are other slides. 2020, I have to go. All right, students. So we were discussing about flow networks, right? And we had seen the algorithm. Basically, there are 3 steps. The first step is we send some flow down the network, and then whichever link we have chosen, we try to send. We try to meet as much as capacity as possible. And then sometimes we may have to read out the routes, right? That was the basic philosophy that we did. So I think we had done till here. No, we had not done. Yeah, we had done till here. So we were talking about read out some of the flow, and we were in this slide. And then I said that we will discuss it later. Okay. So, there is a concept of reversing some of the flow. What is the meaning of that? That for explaining that, I will just talk about the first. We will discuss the concept here, okay? Because that will create a confusion now if I discuss this. Okay, so we are actually talking about the algorithm
Ma'am,
now.
are you sharing the slides?
Yes, you are not able to see.
Ma'am,
I
it's
think
visible.
my problem.
What
I will
happened?
rejoin, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
internet, ma'am, I will rejoin.
Yeah, rest everybody is able to see, right, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so we will talk about residual graph. Okay, so for making this algorithm work, we are now discussing the algorithm. Okay, so we have a concept of residual graph. What is a residual graph? We call it as GF. Okay, it is constructed from G. Okay, with these constraints, you can say. Okay, so what we do for making a residual graph, a graph is given to us. The original problem, the flow graph is given to us. We will make residual graph in every step. Okay, what do we mean by every step? Means whenever we send a flow, okay, so we will have a graph G, and whenever we send a flow in any of the edge, we will make the residual graph. Every step we have to make the residual graph. Now, how do we make the residual graph? The very simple logic is for each edge E in the original graph. Okay, we will see the original graph after we have sent the flow. So for each edge, we will see if flow of E is less than capacity of E. Okay, that means if we have not sent the entire flow as per the capacity, what we do is introduce an edge in GF with capacity equal to capacity E minus flow E. Okay, what is the meaning of that? You are making a residual graph. In that graph, suppose you have seen that, suppose the capacity is 8, but you have only sent the flow as 6. Okay, so you are not doing anything in the graph, but in the corresponding residual graph, you are going to make an edge. Okay, wherein you will say that with capacity equal to capacity E minus flow E. So if you have only sent 6 and the capacity was 8, so the 2 that is remaining, okay, that you are going to make one more edge you will introduce with 2. So that will indicate that you have already sent 6, but 2 is still remaining. Okay, like that we are going to make an edge in GF. Okay, so what exactly this indicates? This represents the remaining flow we can still push. Very simple concept. Okay, so first we are going to do that. For every edge we will be doing that. Okay, for example, we had done it here, no? So suppose not like this, so let us say here. Okay, so here when you are going to send this 8 and 8, so now what is happening? You know that the capacity 2 is remaining here from S to A, and here there is no need. From D to T still 2 is remaining. So we are going to introduce one more edge from S to A, that will be saying that 2. Okay, one more edge we are going to introduce D to T, that will be saying the capacity as 2. So this is going to tell basically that still we can send 2 more here and we can send 2 more here. That is what it indicates. Okay, after that what we do next step is, in the next step, this for now you have made this in GF, okay, in the residual graph. Then what we do is, we are going to check in the original graph G if flow E is greater than 0. Okay, that means what? If obviously flow E cannot be negative, but flow E can be 0, right? That you have not sent anything. Okay, greater than 0 means whichever whichever edge we are flowing some data. Okay, what does this mean, students? This means, you have seen this graph, right? In this graph, what is happening? You have a flow from here, you have a flow from here, you have a flow from here, here and here with blue color or red color. Flow is here. Now there are some edges which do not have any flow. What are those edges? From A to B, there is no flow, right? It's just 2 that is showing the capacity. C to D, there is no edge. Okay, so the second step of the algorithm is telling that you are going to see the edges in the graph which has some flow. Okay, so that's what they are representing, that if flow of E is greater than 0. Okay, so here A to B, there is no flow. It is not greater than 0. Okay, it is 0. Right, so to say that it is written like that. So whichever edges you have given the flow, what you are saying, what you are doing in that case, introduce an edge in GF in the opposite direction with capacity equal to flow E. Okay, so now whichever edges you are having a flow, you are going to reverse that edge, and what you will show, the capacity as what was the flow. Okay, you are going to reverse the edge, then the algorithm works. Okay, so it basically says, that's what we did here. Okay, so what we did here was, if you see this one, so there was an, let us say there was an edge from A to D, you have an edge that is 8 to 8. Okay, so wherever you have introduced, you have a flow. So where all you have a flow in this graph, you have here, you have here, here, here. Wherever you have, you are going to reverse the edge. So you will make A to S now showing as 10, B to S showing as 2, capacity as 2. Okay, why we are doing this? So the simple logic behind this is, when you say A to S, now you have this flow. Now you make A to S reverse in the reverse direction, that it is coming from A to S. Okay, so that will actually indicate that, for example, here, this is going to indicate, 1 minute, students, Supriya ma'am is calling me. I'll just pick the call. Okay, sorry, students. Yeah, I told you, right? We have a meeting, so the bus is going, around 80 staff members, 80 teachers are supposed to go to NAC office. So Supriya ma'am was asking me whether I'm joining or not, like that. So actually, I got permission from Sriram sir. I told him that it is getting little difficult to finish up the portion. So he said, fine, you can continue with your class. So I had updated ma'am, but maybe she did not see that, Supriya ma'am. So she was checking with me whether I am joining or not. All right, students. So basically, if I have A to S now, if I make 10, it says that now I cannot send any more data from S to A. That is the logic. Okay, for example, now if you see, okay, in this picture, if you see that, there is a flow from A to C as 2. Right now, as per the algorithm, what I will do, I will say that the capacity is still, 2 is remaining, right? So I will introduce one more H from A to C, right? That will indicate 2 as the capacity, right? And I have to reverse this. I will reverse this H, C to A. So it is going to say that now I can, there is only 2 that is remaining that I can send from A to C. Did you get? So that is the idea behind, doing this. So it works like that. Similarly, from D to T, we are going to introduce an edge with the capacity of 2, right? So not in this picture, here, let us say. Now, if you have here 8 to 10, so what we do is, we introduce an edge from D to T saying as 2. So it says that 2 more is the capacity. And we are going to reverse this T to D, saying that already, this 8 has already come. So we just require only 2. Okay, that's what we do, and that helps us in stopping the algorithm till how long we have to work on it. So basically the idea is, if you are going to introduce an edge in GF in the opposite direction with capacity equal to flow E, this represents the flow that we can reroute or we can reverse. Okay, we can reroute or we can reverse. So we will see that. So that is the concept of residual graph. Now let us do it. Before actually doing the algorithm, we are going to apply the algorithm here based on this. Okay, so if you feel you can have, if you feel that is required, that will help you. You can draw the graph as well as the residual graph. So you can do it in your notebook. Okay, so in this we are taking the same example, the first one, which is a simple one. Okay, so we know the answer also. How do we get the answer and how do we know when the algorithm stops? And you will realize that what is the use of making the edge into the reverse direction, opposite direction. So this is my G. So I will introduce first GF, right? So initial GF will be same as G, right? Initially, you are just making a G same as GF. Okay, now this is what we have not discussed here in this slide. We did not discuss the next step, that is residual graph. Okay, so every time, when do we do this? We have a residual graph. That is the first thing. Okay, after we have a residual graph, the next step is we find a path. Okay, in the residual graph that takes us from S to T. Okay, and after doing in that path, you are going to apply this thing. Okay, you are going to send some flow, and after sending some flow, you are going to apply this part. Okay, so here what we do is, first thing, if you see here in initial stage, your G and GF are same. This is your residual graph, and you find, so the first step is you find a path from S to T in GF. Now when I say only path, you know that the meaning of only path is the simple path, right? So say the property of simple path, you do not repeat a vertex. Okay, so find a path from S to T in GF. You can find any path. Okay, so generally when you write the algorithm, because we want to send as much as flow, we will try to find the path wherein we can start with the maximum flow. So from S, as per the algorithm, it says you just find a path. You don't have to see the maximum edge path. There should be a path. Okay, so let us say if we find a path here, I can find this path S to A, then A to B, and B to T. I can also find if I find a path S to A and then A to T, certainly this, because I'm sending a 20 here and the capacity is only 10, right? So with all that, I will let us select as S to A to B, and B to T as the path. Find a path from S to T in GF. Okay, the next step is going to be that from in that path in this graph G. So this is your residual graph. Remember that you need to find a path in the residual graph. Okay, as per the algorithm, what it is, you are having this graph where you are going to send the flow. Finally, this will be telling you the answer. Okay, this G will be telling you the answer. But when you find a path, you find a path in GF. In the residual graph, you find a path that takes you from S to T. So let us say that we find this path S to A and A to T. Okay, sorry, S to A to B, and B to T. I found a path. And then what we do is we send down some flow in that path. Where do you send down?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
so
Priya?
initially we spoke about, I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes, you
So
are audible.
initially,
Go ahead.
ma'am. Initially, in the previous slide, we spoke about the conditions of residual graph. Like for each edge in the original graph G, we check based on the two conditions, comparing flow and capacity, right? So in the graph G, there is no flow, right? So like what exactly we are doing? How did we get GF? It is basically the same as G in this slide.
This is the initial step, Priya. This is the initialization. Right?
Oh, this
Because
is not the residual graph, ma'am. It is yet
so
to be done.
this is residual graph only. This is the first iteration of the algorithm. So
Okay, okay,
initially you
okay.
have not sent any flow. So your residual graph is same as the graph. That's what I told, right? So that's what I told students, that this is the initial stage, right? You are starting with the algorithm. So you apply this thing after you send any flow. After you send any flow, you need to apply this, Okay. So, but initially, when you start initially, the initial stage, your GF is same as G because you have not sent any flow, right? So this is the initialization of the algorithm. So initially your GF is same as G. And then you find a path. This is what you will always do till your stopping criteria is met. Okay, so always you are going to find a path from S to T in GF. Okay, after you find a path, a simple path, okay, the stopping criteria of the algorithm will be that there is no path from S to T in residual graph. And again, keep in mind that you are finding a path in the residual graph. Okay, so suppose you find a path in residual graph. Yes, there is a path from S to A to B, and B to T. Okay, so suppose you can do that algorithmically. When you solve, you can have your own constraints that okay, you want to select which path. Suppose the condition is you have to find a path. Once you find a path, you send the flow in that path. Okay, after you have sent the flow in this graph G, okay, you apply this. Then what you will do, you need to update the residual graph. After you send any flow, you are going to update the residual graph. So that keeps on happening. Okay, so that's what is the algorithm. You start G, you have GF. Okay, so you find a simple path in GF, and in that path, correspondingly in graph G, you send some flow. After you send any flow or you make any change, you do any rerouting. Okay, after you send any flow, you need to again reconstruct the residual graph. Okay, once you have reconstructed the residual graph, you are again going to find a simple path. Again, you send the flow, and when your algorithm will stop, there will be a situation will arise that you are not finding a simple path in the residual graph. That is your stopping criteria. All right, let us see this. Okay, so this is G and this is GF. So find a path from S to T in GF, and now suppose I find this path. So we send down some flow in G. Okay, so this is what we do in GF, in G. Okay, so we found a path and we send the flow in G. So you see that wherever we are sending the flow, we are changing the color. So we have sent 20 here, this 20 we send here, and this 20 we send here. Since you have made a change in G, so now you will update your GF, right? So how do you update your residual graph is? Now we will make residual graph. How do we make residual graph? So all the nodes will be same, right? And what else I have to do? I have to see that wherever we have sent the flow, if there is a H which has the capacity, which has the flow which is less than the capacity. So there is only one H here, right? So A to B, this has a capacity, so you are going to introduce an H from A to B in residual graph. That will be having the capacity of 10. What else I need to do? I need to reverse the edges where you had sent the flow. Okay, so now in residual graph, there will be an H from A to S, from B to A, right? B to A of 20. Okay, and T to B of 20. That is what will be your residual graph. So now your residual graph will be like this. Okay, so what do we do here? So you see, this was the flow, right? So first what we did was from A to B, 10 was remaining. So you introduced an H from A to B of capacity 10. And then you reverse the edge where there was a flow. Okay, not all the edges. We are not going to reverse all the edges. So this was an edge, there was a flow, right? 20. So this reversed, right? This was an edge. So now you introduce an edge from B to A, that is 20. You reverse an edge from T to B, that is 20. Because these were the three edges. And this is what you had to introduce. Anyone has a doubt till here, you can ask. So we just applied those steps. So the steps are very simple. Every time, yeah, let me just complete. Every time we are finding a path, right, in the residual graph. Once we have found a path in the residual graph, okay, we are going to send the flow in that path. After sending the flow in that path, we are going to look that if there is an H which has the flow which is less than the capacity. How much ever it is less, we will introduce an edge from that node, whichever edge we will introduce one more edge with the remaining flow. And we are going to reverse all the edges that were there in the flow. Yes. Yes, you can ask your doubt, please.
Huh, ma'am, the procedure I'm clear. So, is it like practically where do we apply, ma'am? Like DFS, BFS, or any kind of algorithms,
No.
or
No, not in DFS, BFS. It has its own applications. We will talk about it. Network flow, I told you,
okay,
right? Wherever you have a network and you want to find out what maximum I can send, it can be in flight network, it can be in sewage lines, it can be in water network, water, electricity, okay, or any of the network where you have constraints in between, right? So therein you can apply this algorithm when you want to find what could be the maximum flow. So we basically want to know that what is the weakest link in my network, right? That's what we are trying to find it out. Okay, and it has other applications also. We'll be discussing them. Okay, other kind of problems we'll be discussing in the next class. I hope we'll be able to discuss. We have classes, yeah, or else I may have to take one extra class. Means we will see that next week. Okay, so this is what, so this till here we have done. So now what is the next iteration? Next iteration says that find the path from S to T in GF. Now you will realize one nice thing, Now see, in theoretically we were saying that since I have already sent this 20, so I will not touch this. To make sure that I don't touch it, it is already done. We are done with this edge. This helps us in reversing the edge. Now, when I find a path from S to T in GF, obviously there is no path from S to A. Already I am done with it, right? And if I had not covered the complete thing, then still I would have found one more path. If I had not given this 20 here, I would have found, that still there is a path from S to A. Certainly, I find here that, there is no path from S to A. That means I am done with this edge. That is the use of reversing the edges. Okay, so now the next step is find a path from S to T in GF. So now when I try to find, I find only one path. S to B, okay, then B to A, S to B, and the path has to be a simple path. S to B, B to A, and A to T. Still there is a path, right? S to B, B to A, and A to T. Okay, and in this path, we are not going into very details of the algorithm, but obviously if you try to implement S to B, B to A, and A to T, the minimum is 10. So I can actually send the full flow. I have to decide, how. So in the path, how do I decide how much flow I can send in the path? I will look for the minimum in that path. That much only I am going to send. I mean to say minimum capacity I am going to look in that particular path. So in this example, we are not able, we are not finding any issue, but in the next example, we will see that, how much I have to select. So this is the path has to be B to A and A to T, and I am able to accommodate this 10 that is going to come over here. Okay, so this is the path. So in this, to make this path, what we are going to do, we are going to send this flow. So the 10 is going to come here. No, but where do we send the flow? The flow we need to send in the graph. So we found a path here, but the flow we need to send in the graph. So what I'll do, we will send a 10 over here. We will send a 10 over here and let us see what happens. Now what happens? Now, so I actually found a path. This 10 here, this 10 can come here, this 10 can go here, and then this 10 can go here. But when I see this graph, if I send a 10 here, what happens? This becomes 10 plus 20. This becomes 30, and this doesn't balance it out. Okay, so while doing this, when I find the path, I have to also see that I have to meet all the constraints. So for meeting those constraints, I have to see if I have to reroute some path. Okay, so to meet this, so now when I want to send this S to B as 10, I have to reroute this, right? So this condition, we have to see that we are not exceeding out the capacity. So we are going to reroute this thing. Okay, so I will send a 10 here, and this from A to B 10 will go, and from A to T 10 will come. Then I can send a 10 here in the graph, and then this 20 can go here. So that rerouting process also has to happen here. So this is what finally we send. We found a path, okay, but in the algorithm, I have to check whether we are able to meet all the constraints, and based on that, we are going to do it like this. So now in the graph, what is happening? In the graph, we are not reversing the edges in the graph. We are reversing the edges only in GF. Okay. So we find it here. So this 20 comes here, this 10 goes here, 10 goes here. This S to B is 10 and then B to T is 20. Okay, so this is my graph. So every time I have a flow in any of the edge, I have to consider it for reversing in while making the GF. Okay, so now, even though we had done, this particular thing we did in the previous iteration, this 20, 20, 20 we did in the previous iteration. When I make this GF, right? So to accommodate this 10, okay, we had to make this rerouting. So this 20 came, 10 came, 10 came, this 10 came and this 20 came here. Okay, so what I'm saying is while reversing the edges, I need to consider all of these, this 20, this 10, this 10, this 10 and this 10, right? Because there is a flow. Wherever there is a flow, you have already sent the flow, all these edges will be reversed. Doesn't matter whether this was done in the previous iteration or in the previous to previous iteration. So wherever, in whichever edges there is a flow, all the edges will be reversed. Now, how do I make the GF in this step? Okay, so in this step, is there any edge which does not meet the capacity? There is an edge from A to B. It has only 10 now. Okay, but the flow is only 10, but the capacity is 20. So I have to introduce an edge A to B with capacity of 20. Okay, and rest all the edges will be reversed. So my GF will be like this. I have to reverse this edge, I have to reverse this edge, to reverse this edge, reverse this edge. This 10 edge I have to reverse. And before reversing, I had already introduced from A to B as 20. Now the next step is, it's a small example, simple to understand. Okay, so find a path from S to T in GF. So now you are not able to find any path because you have met the capacity. Okay, so now you are trying to find a path from S to T in GF. So you do not find a path. So that tells you that you have to stop now. You have to stop your algorithm. Okay, that's what it says. So there does not exist. That means we are done. It was a simple most example. Okay, so now we apply the same thing here. It will be, it may
Ma'am, can you
little,
repeat the conclusion? How did we stop?
Because what are we doing? So every time we are making a GF, okay, every time we are making a GF, that is residual graph, to in every iteration to proceed further, I need to find a path from S to T in GF. Is there a path now from S to T in GF?
Oh, we don't have.
There is no path because we have reversed the edges. Okay, so we do not have a path means we need a path. So this is a simple example, but in other examples, you need a simple path. Sometimes what happens, there will be path that will be, it may be a path which is not simple. Okay, you are repeating a vertex or you are repeating an edge. Okay, so we always need to find a simple path because there is no simple path exists that tells you that you can now stop. So that's your final step where you will stop. All right, so now this was very, very simple, students. So we will do it in this graph as well. This also we know the answer has to be 14. Okay, so how does it come? Okay, so not very difficult, but yes. So here, so again, you start with GF. So initially my GF is same as G, right? Now I have to find a path in GF, a simple path in GF that takes me from S to T. Okay, so now which path do I select? Okay, so it can be any path. Okay, so now if I select this path like this we did, right? So there are various paths available, S to A, and since we want to send the maximum flow, that we can make. It's not a condition. It's not a condition. Not necessarily. You can actually select a path from this also. S to A to C, C to T also. That is not given anywhere that which path I want to select. But let us say we want to be greedy. Let us say so from S to A, and then I take A to D, and then I take D to T, because I want to send as much as possible. So this is what I send, right? So I send the flow S to A as 8, A to D as 8, and D to T as 10. Now what do I do? So the next step is I see if there is a capacity remaining. So I will introduce an edge in the GF. Every time I have to make a GF after I send any flow. So in this GF, S to A, I will introduce an edge of 2, and D to T, I will introduce an edge of 2, right, with capacity 2. And these three edges will be reversed, right? That will be my GF. So this is how we made. S to A, we introduced from D to T, okay? And we reversed these three edges. A to S, we have reversed. We have reversed this D to T, and we have reversed this T to D. Now what happens? Find a path from S to T in GF. So what we do is, yesterday we had discussed, even though now I can find this path, I can actually go from S to B. But what we try to do is, we try to send the maximum flow in the edge that in which we were working on. Okay, so I find that is there a path still existing, the same path which I was working on. Okay, so okay, we were working on this path, and it says that yes, I have still I can send a flow of 2 from S to A. That's what it says. Okay, so it says that I can send from S to A, but now I cannot send from A to D. See, there is no path. So it says this reverse direction tells me that I can send something from S to A, flow of 2 I can send, and then it can come here or it can come here. That's again up to us, that how do we decide to select the path. Okay, so now if I take S to A, and then if I take A to C, and then I can take C to T. Okay, so suppose we take this route. So what happens next? This goes like this. So what we have, so now we will say that we have, in the graph, we say that we have actually sent 10. Already we had sent 8. Now we are able to send 2. So we will say that we have met the capacity, complete capacity. So 10, 10. Okay, we have sent this 2 here. Still 2 is remaining. We have sent, in the graph, we will show it. We have sent 8, 8. Okay, and this 8 to 10, right? So now when I make the residual graph, I have to make these changes. I have to consider all the edges where the flow is there. We are going to reverse them, and we are going to introduce this edge. Now this edge will go. This S to A, now nothing is remaining. A to C, the edge with the capacity 2 will come. C to T, the edge with the capacity 8 will come. Here we will introduce an edge with the capacity 2. That's it, right? Wherever we have done send some flow, that is what we will introduce. So now you will see that A to C 2 has come, D to T 2 has come. That's it. And yes, C to T 8 has come. And then you have reversed this edge. This you have reversed A to S. You have reversed C to A with 2. Okay. You have reversed T to C with 2. And you also have to reverse this with 8. T to D with 8 you need to reverse, and you need to reverse D to A with 8. Rest all you are not touching. Where there was no flow, you are not touching those edges. That is the only mistake we do sometimes. Okay. So now again, the next thing is find a path from S to T in GF. Again, I have to find a path from S to T in GF. So now certainly I cannot find, I cannot choose this A to S. There is no path. So I have to choose this path. Yeah, so that's what I was telling. Yeah, that's what I decided. Actually, yesterday I thought I will ask you to go through this one yourself, but then I realized this, yes. So from S to B now, I have a path with capacity 10. So how much flow I should send, okay? So now when I select the next path is S to B, then I have to come B to D. Okay, I can, again there are various paths. S to B, I can go B to D, and then I can go D to T. Okay, so if I go this way, S to B, B to D, D to T, how much flow I can send? I can only send 2 students. S to B, even though 10 is available, I cannot send 10 because I will come S to B, it's 10, B to D, it's 9, and then if I come D to T, it's only 2, right? So I cannot send from S to B total 10. That's how I have to check in the path how much I can send. I can send only with the smallest capacity, minimum capacity. Or if there is another path existing, S to B, okay, S to B, then I can come B to D. Okay, I can come B to D, and then if I take this one, D to A, that also I can take. In the residual graph, that's a path. S to B, B to D, and then I can come D to A, let us say, and then A to C, still it's a simple path. S to B, B to D, D to A, then A to C, and then C to T. If I take this path also, you will realize that the minimum capacity that you can spend is only 2. Any path you take, you can give only 2 because that is the minimum capacity. Okay, so we have to take, now we will introduce only 1, 2 from here, but now we have to work on it here, right? So we are finding a path in GF to find out that which is the path we will
Excuse
select.
me, ma'am. Just one
Let me
small
complete.
doubt.
Let me complete, Priya. Okay,
Yes.
your doubt will be clarified. I will make a statement after that. Okay. So what we are trying to do is in the GF we are trying to find out a path. Okay. So two things we are doing. One is we are finding out the capacity, and another thing we are finding out the path. Do not worry if I think you have a doubt that from A to D it is a path here, and now we have introduced this D to T. So with that is will there be an effect? There will not be any effect. Okay. Even though this was A to D and we had reversed this edge. Okay. We are using it for making a path, whether the path still exists or not. Okay. So that makes us to take the path. It does. So that's how the algorithm works. So this A to D we had reversed. It helps us to make the path. Okay, and to tell what is the minimum capacity that we can send. But when we send it, so this is how your residual graph helps. But where do you apply this? When you send the flow, you send the flow in the graph only. So I have to make it send here. You know, I will not exactly send the flow here. So now when I send this, introduce a flow of 2, I have to introduce it here. So I will make S to B as 2. In the graph, I will make S to B as 2. Okay, and then I have to make this 2 will go here, B to D. Okay, so you are going to make this 2 as B to D, and then you are going to make, you know, you will see if you make a 2 here, then you also have to see if you have to change, if you have to reroute some of the routes. Okay, so now in this graph, if you bring a 2 here and if you bring a 2 here, B to D if you make. Okay, so see, basically you find a path from S to T in GF. Okay, but you also have to see if you select a path from S to B in GF. Okay, S to B suppose, and then B to D. Now if you go from D to A, suppose you are going to select this path, the same path should exist in your graph also, right? So even though in GF I find a path, there is a path. Okay, that gives me an indication that, you know, whether I can continue, you know, till when I have to continue. Okay, but actually when you send the flow, you have to send the graph. Okay, so if I had selected this path S to B and then B to D and then D to A, okay, but in this graph that path doesn't work out. Okay, so you have to actually see that, you know, the path S to T in GF, you find a path. Okay, but the same path you should be able to send the flow also. So accordingly you have to apply that constraint. Okay, so now suppose you are, Priya, is your doubt clear?
Ma'am, actually, I understood how this GF is drawn, but then you were telling about the minimum capacity again and again. So the minimum capacity is flow only, right? So, like, what exactly you mean by minimum capacity being 2? That is the red color one, 2. Like, what do you mean by that?
I am not getting
What's
you,
that?
Priya. What I explained is that in the path, you know, how much flow you can send will depend on what is the minimum capacity existing in that path, right? What was this red color 2? This red color 2 was the flow that you had already sent, right? So that's what we had done. No, so initially we had done it like this. We initially send this 8 goes here. Then when we send this 2 again, so this 2 goes to this node, A to C, the 2 goes, right? So it is just that. It is this 2 indicates that the flow from A to C is 2. That's what it indicates.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So generally, when we speak about the capacity, we tell about the cuts, no, ma'am. We don't talk about a single edge. So that's why I
No,
got
we are not talking about
whether
cut
you are
now. We are not talking
okay, ma'am.
about cut now. You are not doing cut. You are seeing the capacity in the path, you know, how much you are able to send. We are not talking about the cut now. Okay, from the cut concept we learned this, that how much I can send is the minimum capacity. That was the takeaway from cut. right? That is why when you are searching a path, you know that there is a path S to B, B to S to B, and you have B to D, and then when you are coming from D to T, this is what you have, right? Sorry. Yeah. So here in this path, when you come from S to B, okay, suppose I take this path S to B, B to D, and D to T. How much I can send? I cannot send this 10 because the capacity here that is remaining is only 2. If you see this path, you cannot introduce, you cannot send a 10 here. That's what we discussed, right? We can only send 2. How does that indicate? How will that be indicated in the algorithm is through this. Okay, so you are seeing the capacity in the path S to B, B to D, and D to T. The capacity that you can send is only 2. The minimum capacity is 2. So that's why you are going to send it as 2. Okay, so your cut thing will come when you are fixed. Okay, either you are at the starting stage of the graph or you are at the end stage of the graph. So we are not talking about the cut. That was just a property. Okay, so you find it out that, okay, you can send a 2 now. Find a path from S to T in GF. You can send a 2 now. So that's what you will do. You will introduce a flow now. From S to B, you will introduce a flow. So like this, it is going to come. Simple. S to B, we made 2. B to D, the same 2 comes here. And then now D to T, because you had selected this path, now it has become 10 on 10. Just match it with this. This graph, this flow, we are not doing anything. This 10 is coming, that from that 10, 2 goes here, 8 goes here, 2 comes here, and this 8 comes here. Based on this, you had made this residual graph. Now we are introducing a flow in the graph, S to BS2, B to DS2, and D to TS, it will become 10, right? This is what you are going to get. So this is 2 out of 9, this is 2 out of 10. So now we have to check wherever there is a flow where the capacity is remaining, right? So here again, you will introduce in the residual graph, you need to have an H A to C that says that still 2 is remaining. You are going to reverse this, and B to D still 7 is remaining. S to B still 8 is remaining, right? So this is what is your residual graph. See, this 2 indicates, yes?
Ma'am, let us consider the best case scenario here, where the flow is 14. So that happens when we send S to A as 10, A to C as 4, and C to T as 4, and A to D as 6, and D to T as 10. And
Okay.
then S to B and B to D, it is 4.
Okay.
So ideally, this is the best case scenario, and
Yes.
in the residual graph, there should be no path from S to T after the reversal.
Exactly. So we are going to
But
come. We are not done. We are not done with the algorithm. We have not completed. It will come. What you are saying is going to come. Okay, that is going to come. This is not the end. Okay, let us see. So now this is what. So that is the next step. What you are saying is the next step. Okay, so this has come S to B. So this is what we introduced. We are just doing it step by step. So what is the next step? So now when you introduce 2 to 10, you have reversed all these edges. See, this is reversed, this is reversed. This 2 to 9 is reversed. This D to T, this is also reversed. All of them are reversed wherever there was a flow. Only this 2 is not reversed and only this 6 is not reversed. And you have these edges. See, A to C still capacity 2 is remaining. B to D still 7 is remaining, and S to B still 8 is remaining, right? So these are remaining. So again, are we able to find a path from S to T in GF? That's the question. Yes, we are able to find a path. This is not there, but yes, this is there. See, S to B, I can come S to B, and then I can go B to D. But after that, there is no path. So I cannot select this path. But I think there is another path available. S to B, okay, S to B, then I can go B to D, and then I can come D to A. Now you will understand, the importance of this reverse link. It is telling me that there is a path existing. S to B, B to D, D to A to C, and C to T. The path is there. In the residual graph, I am able to find the path. S to B, B to D, D to A, and A to C, and A to C to T. and the capacity that I can send is 2. So you see that here I can send 8. Here I can only send 7. If I consider this, I can send 8. A to C, I can send only 2. C to T, I can send only 8. So the minimum capacity that I have to select as 2. But now what happens? If I select this path, if I select this path, a path is there in the residual graph. But if I select this path S to B, B to D, and in this graph, I do not have a path D to A. Okay, so that indicates me that but still the capacity is there. So that indicates that I have to reroute some of the flow. Okay, so that is an indication of that tells me that still, because there is a path in GF, that means I can send a flow of 2 more from S to B. Right? But sincerely, if I see here, this path, I got a path because of this D to A. But when I see here, there is no path from D to A, right? So this is an indication that it tells me that still I can send 2 more I can send. Okay, because GF is telling me that I can send 2 more. Okay, but then I do not find that path. So that gives an indication that I have to reroute. Okay, I have to reroute. So we have to find that out how I can reroute, because I can send the still the capacity 2 is remaining in this path. Okay, so I will reroute this thing. Okay, so this rerouting thing tells me that the next phase I do a rerouting here, because the 2 was remaining here. Okay, so I send this 10, this 4 goes here, this 6 goes here, from this 4 comes here. Okay, and so I reroute the path so that I'm able to send this capacity. This S to B 4 comes, and then B to D 4 comes, and likewise I make it. Okay, so this indicates, I am just telling you the example. Still, we have not seen the algorithm, sincerely, the complete algorithm. But this gives me an indication that I have to reroute the path, because I can still send the flow of 2. Okay, so this is what we do. So we perform rerouting, and this is what we get. Yes.
Ma'am, it is understood that since we have a path, we have to reroute. But how did you say that that we can still send 2? So how did you say that?
We said that because of the capacity in this path, what was the capacity that was remain that we could send? The minimum capacity was 2, right? That's why we can send only 2. This was the minimum capacity, in this path, right? So this minimum capacity. So now when we want to reroute, right? So we want to reroute here, okay, because this was the path. We want to reroute here. We can send only 2. If you see here, how much you can send maximum 4, right? So we have rerouted this. And that those things when you actually implement, you will have to see. You will have to apply other logic also, definitely. So you come to know that you can still send 2. I'm only telling you that part, that it tells you that you can send 2. Implementation wise, we have to see, how I can, I have to keep a track of this AC and AD also, to make sure that, because the 2, if you see here, there is no capacity that is remaining, no? From A to D, there is no capacity, but I want to make this as the maximum capacity, A to C. So we send 4 here. So then 8 minus 2, because we gave this 2 here. So 8 minus 2, this 6 is going to come here. Okay, so this 4 comes here. And if your question was that how do you come to know that only 2, that is the minimum capacity in the simple path that you found out. Okay, you can make a note of it. The minimum capacity that you found out in the path from S to T in GF. That is how you decide. Okay, so then you reroute it. So after you have rerouted, we have skipped one, that rerouting part. So this is the rerouting part, and then you are going to send a 4 from here. So 4. So finally you get this. Now what happens? I'll quickly wind up, students. So what happens here? After you have made this graph, you are again going to make the residual graph. This is what you get. Complete capacity. The capacity is remaining here. So you are introducing one edge, 6, and this 6 you have introduced, whereas you have introduced a 5 here. Okay, and you have introduced a 6 here. And rest all have to be reversed. Everywhere there was a flow except this 2 and 6, right? So you have reversed all the edges. The next question is, find the path from S to T in GM. Is there a path? we will not have a path now, certainly. You see that from S to B we have. Okay, then from B to D we have a path. From D to A also we have a path. But now there is no path from A to C. This came because you had reversed this edge and you had sent the complete capacity. Because now there is nothing, no more edge where you can send down the flow. So you don't find a path from S to T in GM, even though it looks like from S to B I can go, but then there is no other path. You had already done with the capacity. Okay. So you are done. Like that, we wind up the algorithm. Okay, so the name of this algorithm that we did, had you heard this name before, students?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is the algorithm. Okay, it is there in the book, students. We will continue with this. I should wind up. Sorry, students, I took extra time. Okay, so we will continue on Monday, students. And next week, I think I may have to take one extra class. Okay, it took time. Okay, so we'll continue with this. So this is the algorithm. I will be telling only this much about the algorithm. We'll continue with this in the next class. We'll wind it up here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, students.